morning. Okay, we're going to start the program. I ask everyone to rise and face the flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing. I'll ask Brianna Lockwood from Notre Dame Academy to come up. National anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Thank you. Thank you.
You may sit down. Well, welcome everyone to the Staten Island Chamber of Commerce 2021 annual meeting. First, I'd like to say thank you to Mr. and Mrs. Nkotra for hosting us today at this very lovely Hilton in the Executive Park in Staten Island. The backdrop is spectacular as always. And it was like you had a private pass to get in here this morning, right? Everybody walked in with their little pass and we got in. The little secret, you had a secret code. But I'm going to be very brief, but I'm going to talk about two things. One is change. And so much has changed in our lives over the past year. Last year, actually, our annual meeting was virtual. And I think everyone has become accustomed to being either virtual or working on Zoom or Teams. It's something that has become second nature to us. Where prior to that, if we were on a conference call, on a phone conference call, that was very technical. Nobody even does conference calls today. And, you know, the in-person thing has become almost extinct, and here we are again today. When people say, hey, it's great to see you, followed by, it's good to be seen. So we talk about change, and every day in our business there's a change. You know, we went through furloughs and getting people back to work, getting our business back on track. We had, now we have the vaccinations and tried 6-foot distancing and getting people, and then mandates taking place in restaurants. And now I hear this morning New York City employees have to all be mandated as well. So it just continues on this track of things that are changed. And we get accustomed to the change. There's been a lot of changes in the Chamber of Commerce as well. But along with that change, it's been steady. And it's always been a source for our members to come and get information and stay on track, especially during this pandemic. We were leading the forefront of a lot of initiatives that kept us in track and on track with with what was going on in the city and what our regulations were. So important to be a member of the Staten Island Chamber of Commerce. And then, once again, we were working remotely. Little did we know, we left our space that we had our home in at the Staten Island Advance. And we found a new home. If you don't know, we are now going to be located, centrally located by the mall, which is a great spot. Again, centrally located on Staten Island. Plenty of parking, which is so important. We're going through a small renovation, but shortly that home will be available for all of our members once again. So with that, I'll talk about another thing, which is hope. And today our special guests and our special speakers that we have are going to bring a little hope to us. And as you've seen a lot of people walking around with facilitators patches on, I'm excited to see what that's about. But they have a plan. And the plan is for our chamber members to get back on track and to have hope for the future. So with that, I would like to introduce the person that's driving the Staten Island Chamber of Commerce, has driven the Staten Island Chamber of Commerce, continues to drive the Staten Island Chamber of Commerce, and do a fabulous job, Linda Barron.
Thank you. Thank you, Michael. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing this morning? Yeah, all right. Do you know that today is Chamber of Commerce Day? I don't know if you knew that, but American Chamber of Commerce executives posted that Support Your Local Chamber of Commerce Day is today. They said that Chambers of Commerce are community builders. We are natural conveners and problem solvers. And I would say that the Chamber of Commerce is all of you, and all of you that do so much to contribute to our community. So thank you all for joining us this morning. Before we get started, there's a couple of different things that I want to mention, and that is basically I want to acknowledge some of our special guests that are with us today. So very shortly, coming in the door, we have our new Lieutenant Governor, Brian Benjamin. He will be speaking this morning and addressing the crowd. We also have Assemblyman Michael Tanusis, Assemblyman Charles Fall, Tommy Scarangello, the Staten Island Regional Representative for Governor Kathy Hochul, Jennifer Sammartino, Deputy Chief of Staff representing Borough President James Otto, and a representative from Michael Riley's office, Assemblyman Michael Riley. Also want to acknowledge our board members who are with us this morning. You've met our chairman, Michael Essenza from Statland Security. We have Frank Scarangello from Scarin. He's our future vice chair, even though he'll tell you otherwise. We have Carol DeCina from National Grid, who's our secretary, and Ed Wiseman from Moving Pictures, who's our treasurer. Board members here today are Dean Balsamini from the Small Business Development Center at the College of Staten Island, Gail Castellano from New York Community Bank, Chris Lee from the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, Rick Levon from Staten Island University Hospital, John Macarelli from TD Bank, Rob Myers from IDB Bank, Jeannie Sarno from Empire State Bank, and Corey Shifter from Casale Jewelers. Representing our foundation board, we have Glenn Catrona, who's chair, also past chair of the chamber, from Glenn Catrona Associates Architects, Phil Guarneri from Empire State Bank, Rosemary Scampus from Inform, also a past chair of the chamber, Joe Sciammi from St. John's University, Joe Tornello from Meals on Wheels, Joe Torres from Merrill Lynch, and Ram Chakani from Staten Island Fragrance. Thank you all for being here. And lastly, I don't want to forget two other past chairs that joined us this morning, Staten Island Stalwarts, John Amodio from SCORE, and Henry Salmon from Equity Valuation Associates. Want to also acknowledge we have representation from the Business Guilds this morning. We have the president of Business Guild 1, Chuck Summers, president of Business Guild 2, Susan Fenley, and president of, that 2 is Tony, I'm sorry, Tony Fiore 2, I wrote Susan's name twice, and Susan Fenley, Business Guild 3. So thank you all for joining us. Today's program would not be made possible without the wonderful sponsors that we have at the Chamber. I want to thank Amazon. We have Carly Graham Garcia with us today. Thank you, Carly, for all the support of this program and many of the things that you're doing with us this year. Also, AT&T, Liz Siegel. We also have our partner sponsors, Northfield Bank, Con Edison, and United Activities Unlimited. So thank you all for all of your generous support. So today's agenda is going to include, as I mentioned, we're going to hear from our new Lieutenant Governor, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the Chamber, give you some updates on what's going on. And in addition to that, we're going to be honoring our long-term members. We have quite a few of our long-term members joined us this morning. So, and then we will have John Piccarelli, who is from Lions Pride Leadership, who is going to lead our Hope session, which will end with some breakout sessions. So we hope to get everybody out of here by 10:30, quarter to 11 the latest. So that's why I'm moving things along. So Tommy Scarangello, is our Lieutenant Governor here yet? Not yet? Okay, so I'm going to keep going. All right. So I'm going to start off just telling you a little bit about what's been going on at the Chamber this year. As you know, Mike told you that we're moving into our new offices, and we have a lot of things going on. And we've been really working hard to support the business community throughout the pandemic with all of the different resources and things that they need. But during the whole while, we've been working on a number of things. So on your seat, you'll see the 125th anniversary guide. So our Chamber's birthday was actually in 2020, and it was difficult to celebrate. So we kicked off we ended the year kind of with our golf outing, which was, we honored our past chairs of the Chamber, which was our first in-person event that we had this year. So that went really well. Then we did, we did the Lou Miller event. We did a virtual event, which was really interesting because it was the first time we did the Lou Miller event virtually. But I have to say, our guest speakers, they were actually comical. I didn't know how they were going to pull it off virtually, but they did. We had our Tom Scarangello, who always comes in and does the right thing. And I don't know, Henry, John's not here today, so I can say whatever I want about John Salmon because he's got those corny jokes that he says. But one of the things that we were proud to do this year was every year we've been doing it for, oh my goodness, over 40 years, honoring the police officers here on Staten Island. So we had a tremendous Police Officer of the Year event at the Staten. We had close to 300 people there. We honored the officers from 2019 and 2020, and it was a really proud moment during the course of this year. And one of the things we did last year is we launched the Shop Staten Island website, which is an online store. This year we're going to expand that. We're partnering with Amazon. So for the months of November and December, for local businesses in the Chamber and on our online website, we're going to offer free delivery service. So what I want to say to you is I encourage you to use the Chamber members and you check out our Shop Staten Island website to do some of your Christmas shopping, and we'll basically be using a local courier service, but Amazon is supporting that initiative for us, so we're excited about that. We are going to have a big announcement next week. We're also implementing a holiday window decorating contest, which you'll hear about a little sooner, and Michelle, our new events coordinator, who's been with us quite a number of years, is planning a really fun event on November 30th. It's called the Praise Ski Party. I didn't know what a praise meant, but she told me. She said it's an after ski party, so everybody's going to come out. It's going to be a taste of honey. We're going to have s'mores. We're going to do all kinds of fun winter stuff, so kick off the holiday season. And lastly, our building awards is going to be on December 3rd, so we're working really hard with the committee on that. I want to mention the work that we've been doing. We have a partnership with the other 5 chambers. We're working with the Partnership for New York City and the Peterson Foundation. And I'm going to ask Brian Licata to come up and talk to you about the direct assistance that the Chamber provides. So, as you know, I just went through a litany of events and programs and things like that, but there's a little bit of a misconception out there that the Chamber is only networking or it's only events and things like that. Yes, we're happy to have in-person events, especially something like this after a tough 2 years to see all the members come out. But we do a lot of direct services, and that's really the core of what we do at the Chamber, is helping small businesses, helping them survive, helping them with the resources that they need. There's a whole myriad of not only the guidelines, but there's new grant programs, there's new loan programs coming out, and they're coming out all the time. So we really try to work with individual members and non-members, because we do get some grants where we support non-members with the staffing for that. So I'm going to ask Brian Licata to come up and tell you a little bit about our efforts to help small businesses here on Staten Island.
Good morning, everybody. So thank you for coming out this morning. As everybody knows, the Chamber's mission is to help the small businesses of Staten Island. Over the last year and a half, what we've seen is that many of the businesses that are on Staten Island are not connected to networks. They lack the information that most of you in this room get on a daily basis, thanks to Dom. I think everybody here can say that they get a lot of emails from Dom. So What we've been trying to do over the last year and a half is help businesses that are not connected, are not part of the chamber, and are part of the chamber. The Small Business Resource Network is a special program from the partnership that allows the 5 chambers to interact with all of the businesses, whether they're a member of the chamber or not. The services that we've been providing over the last year and a half have been vital for some of these businesses. We can start off with some of the low-hanging fruit. We've helped create websites for businesses that can't afford websites. As everybody knows right now, especially due to what's been happening, your online presence is paramount to the success of your business. So the website has allowed a lot of these businesses to not only show people what they do, but we've been able to give businesses e-commerce platforms. We've included Bento Box in our restaurants. This has allowed them to actually have people order online and pick it up. In addition to the low-hanging fruit, we've gone deep. I think the last year I've spent a lot of my time working with businesses on these small pandemic grants, the PPP loans, the EIDL loans. As many people are aware, it's been very hard to navigate the system and to get the information. We have a network of volunteers that actually will work with the businesses, offer them free advice, help them with, whether it's marketing, advertising, finance, legal. We try to help the businesses in any way that we can. The hardest thing that we found is actually getting out in the community to the businesses that are not connected. I would tell you that about 3 days out of the week, most of the chamber members are out visiting businesses that we do not know. We're introducing ourselves, we're telling them all of the services that the Small Business Resource Network provides, and we're letting them know that it's a free service and we can help them. Overall, the reception has been really well. We have helped about 3,200 businesses over the last year on Staten Island. That is nearly 600% more than our chamber membership. That shows you the outreach that the chamber is doing right now. Our goal is to contact about 20 businesses a week that we don't know, find out how we can help them, how we can plug them in so that they can get the resources that they need so that they can bring in more customers. They can gain access to grants. They can get into the city's portal. And if anyone knows and they've tried to get city contracts, you know how hard that system is to navigate. The biggest thing with the Small Business Resource Network is finding the businesses that are less than 5 employees, that are not capable of doing everything for themselves. And I think that's the area where the chamber shines the most. When you go on our website, you see it says, let the chamber do for you what you can't do for yourself. That really is what the chamber does. Many of you have called us over the last year. We've provided PPE. We've come out to your business. We've helped you in one way or another. Our goal is not to help only our members. This coming year, we want to take that number of 3,200 businesses that we've helped. We want to continue to help them in any way that we can. We want to tack on another 4,000 businesses to that. Staten Island has about 48,000 small businesses. Only about 12,000 of them are brick and mortar, which means that we have to connect with about 36,000 businesses that operate out of their houses or in other spaces. This program has really allowed us to bring the chamber not only into people's businesses, but into their homes. This is a fantastic program. If you haven't connected with myself, Michael, or anyone else at the chamber to find out more about these resources, I would encourage you to. The one thing I'll say is this. I wish that there were more of us because there's a lot of work that needs to be done. So if you do call and I don't answer, please send me a text message. I tend to respond to text very rapidly. Or if there's something that you need, most members know I'll come to you. The chamber likes to visit people. So with that, I would actually like to bring up Janet Dugo, who's going to talk about our Downtown Staten Island program. Thank you, Janet.
Hi, thank you, Brian, and good morning, everyone. It's so great to see everyone in person today. So as Brian said, I'm Janet Dugo, and I'm here with an update on the Chamber's work in the downtown Staten Island Commercial District. Just for a quick recap, starting about 4 years ago, the city's Department of Small Business Services began providing the Chamber with grant funding to help support downtown with programs and improvements. This work has had a real and a significant positive impact in that neighborhood. There's really so much to say, but I'll just go over a few of the highlights from this past year. We have a private sanitation worker who regularly sweeps the streets. And since our last annual meeting, we've provided over 1,800 hours of service and collected over 2,000 bags of trash. We've also tended to well over 150 tree beds in the neighborhood. And on that subject, I want to give a special shout out to our chamber board member, Carol DeCina of National Grid. Last month, Carol brought in a group of nearly 40 enthusiastic National Grid volunteers to help spruce up the corridor. And so thank you, Carol, and all involved for helping us. And most importantly, for helping all the businesses in the district. Another thing we've been working on is marketing the district. So I hope you're all familiar with the award-winning downtownsi.nyc website. If you're not, please be sure to check it out. There's even more reason to check it out now thanks to another great chamber collaboration. This year, Chamber Board member Dean Balsamini of the SBDC is partnering with us on promoting a new interactive map and business directory that highlights all the great places to shop, dine, and play downtown. You can find it on the website and also with a free app and with a QR code that you'll see popping up. So stay tuned for lots more info about that project as it continues to roll out. Now, this past year has been especially challenging for the merchants of downtown Staten Island, as it has been for most merchants across Staten Island. It's been a real struggle with the pandemic shutdowns and the changing regulations. So in response, we've been providing direct one-on-one counseling and assistance, connecting merchants to tangible resources. Just for quick examples, we helped 11 businesses in the neighborhood apply for and receive substantial grant funding. And 8 businesses have been awarded free website design services, getting their shops online to help them compete in the new environment. Well, now, probably the most exciting thing on the horizon is the rollout of the Downtown Revitalization Initiative projects. You may recall that in 2019, the Chamber partnered with Borough President Otto and the SIEDC on an application to receive $10 million in New York State funding for the neighborhood. Staten Island was awarded the funds, and this spring, then Lieutenant Governor, now our current Governor, Hochul, came down to announce that 8 of the projects recommended by a local planning committee have been selected to move forward. The Chamber's directly involved in 2 of those projects. First, we're partnering with the SIEDC to administer a $1 million grant fund to help merchants and property owners in the district. Part of those funds will go towards supporting capital improvements to the physical space, things like facade renovations or retrofitting store interiors. Another part will go toward micro grants to help merchants recover from the pandemic. You'll be hearing much more about that exciting project, including how to apply for assistance in the weeks and months ahead. The other project we're thrilled about is the Chamber's Wayfinding project. We'll be putting together a strategic system of signs to help people navigate around the neighborhood, helping them easily find places to eat and drink, to shop, to find entertainment, and more. Helping them understand the lay of the land and giving them a reason to continue on to discover all that downtown Staten Island has to offer. So there's lots going on in downtown Staten Island, and in closing, I invite you to reach out to me to learn more. And if you'd like to begin receiving our Downtown Staten Island quarterly e-newsletter, just let me know. Thanks very much for your time and attention, and now I'd like to turn it over to my colleague Dom Provenzano, the Mayor's Marketing Director, with some big news.
Thanks, Janet. So good morning. It's nice to see so many of you in person. I'm Dom Provenzano. I'm the Marketing and Communications Manager at the Chamber. So as we approach our 125th anniversary, the Chamber staff has been working hard to modernize our services, our technology, and our presence for a new generation of businesses. So we started with the launch of our new website in 2019, followed by our new package offerings in 2020. And today I'm excited to reveal the Chamber's new logo and look. So why are we changing the logo? In short, the logo is simply due for an upgrade. The orientation of the existing logo makes it difficult to utilize it on social media platforms, advertisements, and chamber materials, for example. We also felt that it was time to change our color. We feel that the chamber's current maroon palette doesn't necessarily evoke Staten Island. So without further ado, here's our new logo. So, the new logo, it utilizes a blue and gold palette that evokes the ferry and the water that separates us from the other boroughs. We've brought in the bridge motif from the previous logo as well. And I want to give a big thanks to the Staten Island Advance for their assistance in designing our new logo. We also have several variations for other uses. We have a badge for social media, stickers, really any use case, ads. For your windows, we'll have new window decals for you all. And they've been all created with simplicity and recognizability in mind. We've also redesigned the logos for the Chamber's groups, including the Business Guilds and the YPG. These new logos all fit within the new branding umbrella of the new logo and help to unify our look. And you may have noticed that the PowerPoint you've been seeing, as well as the annual meeting materials, follow the new color palette and branding as well. So that's the new look. We'll be making the switch in January 2022. And lastly, I wanted to leave with this. Today is 2021 National Support Your Chamber of Commerce Day. And as Linda mentioned before, Support Your Chamber of Commerce Day is an effort established by the Association of Chamber of Commerce Executives to raise awareness and fundraise for chambers of commerce. And during a year and a half where fundraising has been very difficult, we ask that you participate in supporting your chamber however you can. Whether you refer other businesses, come to participate in future events, or simply spread the word about how the chamber has helped you, your efforts can go a long way to ensure the vibrancy and sustainability of the chamber. So thank you for your time. I hope you like the new logo. And with that, I'd like to reintroduce our President and CEO, Linda Barron.
Just want to thank all of my staff for all of the hard work and that they put in to do all of these changes that we're seeing at the chamber. I have to say it's refreshing with just seeing having the time even to strategize during COVID with everything else that we've had going on to implement many of these changes. So I hope that you guys are happy with all the work that we're doing. You tell I'm from Staten Island. I said, you guys. Can't help myself, I'm sorry. Anyway, I have the privilege of introducing our new Lieutenant Governor, Brian Benjamin. He's the 78th Lieutenant Governor of New York State, and he was appointed last month in September by our new governor, Kathy Hochul. Lieutenant Governor Brian Benjamin previously served as the New York State Senator for District 30, which encompasses Harlem, East Harlem, and the Upper West Side, where he served as chair of the Budget and Revenue Committee, acting president officer, and as senior assistant majority leader. As a state senator, Benjamin was elected to the New York State Senate in 2017 and distinguished himself as a pragmatic, solutions-oriented legislator. He has been a leading voice in fighting for fairness as it relates to criminal justice reform, public safety, affordable housing, and economic recovery. Benjamin earned his undergraduate degree in public policy from Brown University and his MBA from Harvard Business School. He was born in Harlem to Caribbean immigrants who came to this country seeking new opportunities. After business school, Benjamin spent 3 years working in investment banking. Benjamin then returned to Harlem to build affordable housing, create over 1,000 units of environmentally sustainable, affordable housing at an MWBE firm, while helping young people develop work skills and secure good construction jobs through community youth programs. His resume goes on and on. He lives in Harlem. He is a city person, and he lives in Harlem with his wife, Kathleen, and his daughter, Caroline. Just want to thank you, Lieutenant Governor, for joining us this morning and taking the time in your busy schedule.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Linda, for that very generous introduction. I want to thank the Staten Island Chamber of Commerce for having me here this morning. I will say to you, I used to be very involved with the Greater Harlem Chamber of Commerce, and the one thing we would have never done is show the change of a logo at a breakfast with all the members here, because that could have been dangerous. But I am so honored to know that you will have a whole different vibe out here in Staten Island. Let me say, no, I'm obviously joking here. A couple points. I come from business. As was mentioned, I went to business school. After business school, I spent a lot of time working with a small minority-owned business where we built affordable housing, hired local people in the community, and those people hired local people in the community. And I will say to everyone here that small businesses are the backbone of New York State. They're the backbone of New York City. And as the Lieutenant Governor, I will work closely with the Governor to make sure that we are providing the resources and support that small businesses need to keep our economy flowing. I don't know if anyone had heard, but the former Lieutenant Governor has become Governor. And one of the things that she has asked me to do is to chair the REDC, the Regional Economic Development Councils, and so I will be focusing on that going forward. And as we look for projects, I want to make sure that we are ensuring that every single dollar that can be captured in New York State is. I know New Jersey is not too far away, and I know the decisions that we can make can sometimes make us less competitive vis-a-vis New Jersey. So we will continue to talk and work together to make sure that we have a strong, vibrant Staten Island. I have a lot of friends in Staten Island, and I am honored to be serving here with you today. Let me just say, we do have the COVID-19 Pandemic Small Business Recovery Grant Program. We've expanded that program. We would like for people to utilize it. So hopefully, working with the Chamber and others, we can do that. If there are other ideas that we should be considering that are unique to Staten Island, we need to know that so that we can make sure that we are having customized solutions that will help all of our businesses. Let me just say, lastly, I've been going around the state and I've been saying to everyone, New York is open for business. I know there's a lot of rhetoric out there that's given some businesses pause and concerns about where New York City and New York State is flowing. I will let you know that the incoming mayor and the governor, Kathy Hochul, and myself are working very hard to let existing businesses know and those we are trying to attract. I spent a lot of time since I've just been in office since September 9th trying to attract more businesses here that we are open for business. We want to make sure that we are doing right by those businesses who have been here and have made it happen, and then bring in new businesses as well. Lastly, let me just say something near and dear to my heart is workforce development. As we grow our economy, as we get through COVID, as we make sure that we are having a just recovery economically, we need to make sure that those who have been historically left out are part of the process, are getting the opportunities, are getting the skills. There are thousands of jobs in cyber tech right now in New York that are available for business. They need employees. We need to make sure that we're helping to grow that. And small businesses need to be serving some of those big corporations that are coming. Google just announced they're having a huge headquarters that's coming right downtown. Who are they working with? Where are they getting their food from? Where are they getting their supply from? The supply chain has to impact the entire New York City and New York State, and I'll be working very closely on doing that. And so I would love to, in the later date, be in a situation where I can hear directly from folks about your concerns and things that we need to be doing on the state level. But just know that I actually come from where you're sitting, and I look forward to being your advocate to ensure that New York State is the best state for business and that Staten Island is the best island for business in New York State. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. I'm definitely going to take you up on that offer. I wanted to mention that he talked about the Empire State Development has these grant program that is out there, and we are actually administering that program at the Chamber, so we're trying to get as many people on board as possible. We actually had a member about 2 weeks ago that got a $27,000 grant that needed the help, and it was nice to see. And so we're trying to get the word out more and more, but we can talk to you individually. Michael Anderson on our staff has been administering that program. He's been doing a fabulous job. And also, the one thing that we didn't talk about this morning is really the workforce development that the Lieutenant Governor just mentioned. we're finding that we're hearing from all of our chamber members that they're having a problem hiring. And Brian alluded to the fact that we even need more staff at the chamber. So that's something that we're very focused on. Actually, we're working with a collaborative group of members right now on looking at where training programs need to happen on Staten Island and what industries they're needed in. So if any of you have any feedback or would like to talk to us about that, you can grab mine or Brian's ear. But now the most important part of the program, where we honor our long-term members. So we take a lot of pride in having members that are with us for 75 years or more, 50 years or more, 25 years or more, and all of you that are here today. So actually, Mike Bloomfield, who's the chair of our membership committee, was going to be here this morning to congratulate everybody and announce them, but he was sick this morning. So the next best thing is Michael Anderson, who is our content development director, who wrote all of the profile stories, which I hope that you all got a chance to see. They're all on our website as well. So without further ado, I'm going to ask Michael Anderson to come up, and we're going to give out the awards to our long-term members. Thank you.
So, good morning, everyone. So you guys got me following a lieutenant governor. Thanks, Linda. I really appreciate it. But no, all due respect. So just real quick, like Linda says, I do the content development at the chamber, and one of the things I enjoy doing is writing stories about our members. And this year we had a lot of long-term members, and I hope you guys read the stories and like the stories as much as I love writing them. I think the one thing, and I do see a lot of other long-term members I've written stories about, it really tells a story about the people of Staten Island and the business community. So I think they're really important for people to see. And like Linda said, they are on our chamber website. So feel free to go back and read them. So what we're going to do is we're going to call up some of our 25-year members. When your name is called, please feel free to come up to the podium. Michael and Linda have a plaque for you. And please stay for a second. Steve will take your picture. So one of the first ones we have is Brownies Pro and Shop Hobbies. And that would be John Brown. And this is a family-owned. John follows in his parents' footsteps for brownies. Our next 25-year member is Colonial Funeral Home. We have Michael Lanza and his wife Joey. They are here to accept. Michael, again, following his family's footsteps in the funeral home business. Our next 25-year member is also former chairman of the Staten Island Chamber of Commerce from Catrona Architecture, Glenn Catrona. And of course, Glenn's got to sit in the back so he can make his grand appearance. Our next 25-year member, we have Gateway Church, and accepting, I believe, is Chris DeSantis, accepting for Gateway Church. And for those of you who aren't familiar, Gateway Church is that big church that you see as soon as you get off the outer bridge and you make that right, that would be Gateway. Just want to check, is Ken Torado here? Okay, so Kill Myers is also a 25-year member. Also, representing Mrs. Rosemary's Dance Studio. When you guys hear dance studios on Staten Island, you know Mrs. Rosemary's. Accepting are her three daughters, Doreen Cugno, Lou Ann Sorrentino, and Ro Hillers. And 25 is Bob Williams here? Okay, so we have Bob Williams from Showtime Publications. And our other 25-year members who were unable to attend: Control Electric Contracting, GCT USA, Grado and Associates, and Sagona Landscaping. That takes us to, we have two 50-year members. One of them is Casey Funeral Home, unable to attend. My next one is the question: has there anyone here in Staten Island not been to the Staten? I really didn't think that was possible. So at this time, for 50 years, I want to welcome Jack Legrecci from Legrecci Staten. Jack and the Staten are 50-year members. And after our two 50-year members, believe it or not, we actually have a 75-year member. Our 75-year member this year is the Staten Island Museum. As Linda had said, Staten Island Chamber is celebrating 125 years. Staten Island Museum a little bit longer, since 1881. Accepting for the Staten Island Museum, please welcome Frank Perkins. So one more hand for all our long-term members, please. Who's next? Who is it? Oh. At this time, I would like to re-welcome to the podium our chairman of the board, Mike Asenza.
I just want to reiterate something about the new logo. As you notice, all the blue and the gold is already brought into the presentation. They snuck it in already. And the real reason behind the blue, Don, I know, they didn't like the purple shirts, the purple golf shirts. So they wanted the blue golf shirts, so now you got the blue. That's the real reason. Anyway, as I mentioned earlier about hope, and we're so happy to be able to bring this presentation to our members today, because at such a time, we need hope. We're honored here today to have Mr. Piclarello, and he's the founder and chief leading officer at Lions Pride Leadership Company. He's been developing leaders for more than 30 years. He's a family man, retired firefighter, and transformation leader with experience in nonprofits, business management, and leadership development. Mr. Piclarello is also an independent certified coach with the John Maxwell team. Today he's sharing his My 9/11/2001 FDNY experience and the power of hope. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Piclarello.
I'm so glad we have a stationary mic, because being Italian, I need two hands to speak. So I'm both honored and humbled to be here to speak to you this morning. And just to give you an overview of my story. And I've been a New York City firefighter for 22 years. I'm retired 14 years now. Served my last 5 years here on Staten Island. And since 1993, I've been serving Staten Island in one capacity or another, being a minister and founder of House on the Rock Christian Fellowship for 25 years, serving Staten Island, and as well as being a coach. And it has been a privilege for those 25 years. And I'm honored here to speak to you about an issue of hope. And my story in brief, on 9/11, I was assigned to the 4-0 Battalion in the Sunset Park section of Brooklyn, and we responded shortly after the first plane struck the North Tower. And we arrived on the scene moments after the second plane struck the South Tower. And we were in the lobby of the Marriott Hotel, used to be the old Vista Hotel many years ago, and where we received our assignment, which was the 75th floor of the North Tower, and that was an objection which we'd never reach. And with that objective, we had several companies that were with us, and to make that trek into the elevator to the sky lobby, and then probably 15 or 20 flight hike from there. And we never made it out of the lobby. The South Tower collapsed on top of the hotel, trapping us in the lobby. And it took us some 25, 28 minutes to make it to the outside. We rescued 2 trapped firefighters in the meantime and brought several civilians, and I believe it was one employee of the hotel with us. When we got to the outside, before we could make it outside, the destruction on West Street was beyond belief. And at that time, while some were going out and going to the left down toward Liberty Street, the chief of department, Chief Peter Gansey, who motioned over to me and sent me toward Vesey Street to where the command post was repositioned, and he wanted 4 engine companies, a ladder company, a squad, and a rescue company, ASAP, in front of the towers. I had no idea the tower had collapsed. I still thought it was something in the hotel because I realized at that time we were dealing with terrorism. Anything is on the table in everything. And while I made my way over the North Bridge, I was standing in front of the North Tower looking up at the aerial. And I understood the specs with that aerial. It's a 300-foot aerial. And my thought was, as I saw it swaying, if that thing falls, that's a 30-story javelin. And I looked at it, and as I was looking at that, the North Tower lets go. And at that time, I really was convinced that was the end of my life. I maybe had a few seconds. Made it across the street, and at that time there were no buildings. There was a huge empty lot, no place to hide. I dove behind a truck, and this thing blew past like a hurricane. And after that, there was deathly silence. I stayed on the scene till about 8:30 p.m. with one moment in between, probably about 2 hours. I went to a hospital to be checked out. Couldn't breathe, tightening in my chest. And when I came back, I was released and continued till 8:30. Didn't get home until midnight. The aftermath was that I had lost 24 friends, 343 brothers in the fire service. The reason I'm speaking to you about hope this morning is because I was well acquainted with post-trauma. Went for 1 year. If it wasn't for the training I had in post-trauma because of being a minister to help people who went through that, I would have never known the things that I experienced were normal. And it did take a toll on my wife and I. She was traumatized watching the whole thing on TV, knowing where I was, and couldn't hear from me until 3 p.m. I can imagine what she went through, that helpless feeling. In the years that follow, I did become acquainted with it and got to know myself pretty well on levels I never knew things about myself, and also understanding that there was hope. And understanding the cleanup, the recovery that went on at ground zero, that was all planned, orchestrated, mapped out with the foundation of hope. The hope was that this city would build back much better. Hopelessness was never entertained with those people, the steel workers and the multiple help that came in from people out of state, out of the country, flying in. The one thing that I remembered about the hopeful part was the solid core values and the belief in prayer, the belief in human decency, and the collaborated efforts of so many organizations driving was a strong national identity at that time. The unity was unparalleled, probably since World War II. The issue that I came away with that was hopelessness was never entertained, and it's not an option. The reason is there's two negative aspects to hopelessness. And the first is that hopelessness underestimates possibilities, discounting viable opportunities. Hopelessness will paralyze the mind and keep you fixated on what just happened without an idea what to do and what the next steps are. Secondly, this negative aspect of hopelessness, it minimizes possibilities, stifling creative thinking, and therefore ruling out creative ideas. How thankful I am that so many people never lost hope. Hope is the most coveted aspect of leadership. Without hope, no one gets a buy-in. Because without it, no one's inspired to dream again. Hope is foundational to any society. Without hope, no one would have been able to rebuild from the Great Depression, from the secessions and the recessions that happened, the economic downturns. Hope is what makes it possible to bounce back, regain momentum, and build even better. It was hope. In fact, there were 4 companies, GE, GM, Disney, IBM, they all have one thing in common. They all survived the Great Depression, 2 recessions, COVID-19, or going through everything we went through in 2020, where many lost hope. Many were hungering for a word of encouragement. These companies survived because they never lost hope. I bring that message to you. There's 4 positive impacts of hope. And I know with everyone represented in this room, it's not only possible, but highly probable that Staten Island in the end will be much better than ever it was going into COVID and going into those downturns. The creativity and the brilliance in this room is there. First, hope is a motivator. It inspires creative thinking, producing ideas, concepts, leading to possible solutions. Hope always motivates people. Secondly, hope deals with realities to meet the challenges we face with an abundance mindset. And an abundance mindset always recognizes opportunities for possible solutions. Third, hope enables us to respond to a crisis from our core values instead of our emotions. What we need is true analytical thinking. The emotions will come later when the victory's won. Fourth, hope is a connector, bringing like-minded people together to think through the issues and carve out new pathways to a better future. When I think of hope, I think of H standing for being happier and healthier in the future. O, being even more optimistic than we were before. P, being proactive with the plans and the objectives that are already on the drawing board now, bringing them into reality. And E, hope is enterprising. Isn't it interesting? In the darkest hour is when people rise to the occasion and become the most enterprising. So many businesses come up from the ashes and boost the economy and make the communities that make up Staten Island a much better place to live. Finally, understanding that hope believes you can make a difference without distorting reality. The strength of hope is facing the challenges just the way they did at ground zero in the rebuilding, the clearing, all of the processes and things that had to take place. They never lost sight of the reality of the challenges because hope inspires you to overcome them. Finally, to the transformation tables, which is why we're here, Transformation tables are nothing new. They've been around for centuries. In fact, note this. Transformation tables in and of themselves do not transform society. Transformation tables transforms the collective thinking of those who sit around those tables. Whether it's 5, 7, or 10 people around the table, you're talking about the collective gifts, talents, and experiences they bring to the table. If there's 200 people here, think about this. Even if you all had 1 year of experience, that's collectively more than 2 centuries of wisdom, insight, and experience to take Staten Island to the next step. It's not impossible, it's highly probable. The transformation tables come from the idea going back to the Greek philosopher Socrates, who utilized the power of meaningful dialogue to develop his students' abilities to think for themselves. Much of the dialogue revolved around a single issue, using open-ended questions to inspire deeper thinking. And everyone, especially those of you in the chamber, are no strangers to deeper thinking. You met the challenges, utilized the resources. And so many people, while they slept at night, you were burning the midnight oil, saying, what's the idea that's going to get us through this? And I've been here long enough to see you guys do it a number of times. All problem-solving discussions, brainstorming sessions that were ever undertaken, all did it with hope, discovering the creation of a better future. I want you for a second to imagine the potential of focusing the collective intellectual capital and years of experience of everyone present in this room to revisit our shared values. Holding open discussions around transformation tables as the ancient philosophers did. Pooling our wisdom, leveraging our experiences to give Staten Island a better future and a hope. At this time, what I would like to do is leave you with a quote from philosopher and poet Henry David Thoreau. And he says as follows: I learned this at least by my experiment, that if one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams, and endeavors to live that life which he has imagined, he will meet with success unexpected in common hours. If you have built castles in the air, your work need not be lost. That is where they should be. Now put the foundations under them. I encourage you, as we transition into the experiencing a transformation table. Today, we're well into the process of laying the foundations to what everyone in this room is dreamt about. Whether it's Staten Island as a whole, the city as a whole, or your business, your organization, your families, those dreams become a reality by sitting down with shared values and discussing our options. Thank you for the honor of speaking to you. God bless you.